James from Bolt Bros. Breaking news. Renaldo Hill out, joining the Dolphins with Vic Fangio once again. Wild news out of nowhere. Let's chat about it, guys. Let's get into it. Bolt Bros, let's go. So Renaldo Hill has moved on to the Dolphins. It's wild because this kind of came out of nowhere. I know Vic Fangio obviously signed with the Dolphins a little while ago, but yeah, I guess he's building his staff up right now, and he brought back a guy that he has worked with the Broncos. So pretty wild to see. But let's chat about this a little bit more. So let me show you a little bit here on the article that popped up here on NFL.com. So we got it right here. So Chargers promoting Derek Ainsley to defensive coordinator, who was our defensive back coach, I believe it was at a time. And now we're going to have an opening for defensive back now for us too. So interesting thing to see that come around. So basically, the Chargers plan to promote Derek Ainsley to defensive coordinator, and Tommy Donatell will be the secondary coach, pass game coordinator, per sources. So they're giving him a little bit of double duty here. Okay, good to know. Tommy Donatell will be our secondary coach now. Derek Ainsley will be our defensive coordinator. So interesting thing about it is Renaldo Hill, who got hired by the Dolphins on a multi-year deal under Vic Fangio. LA allowed them out of the contract to join Fangio as the Fins defensive back coach, passing game coordinator. Really interesting to see that. Like, he kind of took a job where it's, in my opinion, he's kind of downgrading his position as a job as a defensive coordinator. He's going to be under Vic Fangio, which Vic Fangio is one of the better defensive callers out there, very much based upon the same philosophy that Brandon Staley is on for his defense. So very, very interesting move all around. I think it's wild that it's happening now, to where you kind of think a lot of these coaching moves have already happened. But hey, they made the move, and that's what's going to happen. One thing I'm thinking about here now, we hired Jeff Howard as an inside linebacker coach. I was kind of thinking, man, first thought is like, oh, are they going to move Jeff Howard back to cornerback coach? Well, it doesn't look like that's the case. It's going to be Tommy Donatell as our secondary coach, passing game coordinator. So wild to see that. Now, I do want to point out for us too, that when you do lose a player or a coach, you do end up getting a draft pick. Now, I'm going to show you one other screen here that might give us a little bit of an idea here of, we might get a compensation out of this. Now, I'm not 100% sure on how this is all going to pan out or not, but let me show you this one. So NFL back in 2020 approved a plan to reward teams with draft picks for developing minority coaches and GMs. So now, obviously, Renaldo Hill is leaving. He didn't go as a head coach or whatnot, or a GM, but the gist of the resolution: a team that loses a minority assistant coach who becomes a head coach, or loses a personnel executive who becomes a general manager, will receive a third-round compensatory pick in each of the next two drafts. So a team that loses two minority staffers to head coach and general manager position will receive 3 third-round picks. Now, I don't know necessarily where this is going to pan out, but my mind went to this. Hey, we might have got a third-round pick out of this, guys. Like, this might have been the case. Now, I don't know if it's going to be an exact third-round pick or not, but we might have just gained a third-round pick out of this deal. Maybe it's a fourth, maybe it's a fifth. I'm not sure. And I don't really know exactly where this leads at, but this actually is kind of a benefit for us. And we all kind of know that this defense runs through Brandon Staley. He's the one that's been doing it. Renaldo Hill's just kind of been in position as a defensive coordinator. Odd he didn't go into as a level of a defensive coordinator. He's just part of a staff now with Vic Fangio, which obviously Vic Fangio is going to be the defensive coordinator, but he kind of took a position back, in my opinion. But maybe it was also at the same point that he decided to take that move because he wanted to have the ability to have possibly a little bit more control all around. So, but either which way, crazy move to see that. I'm excited for a draft pick if we get it in the third round. That's huge for us, guys. What does that basically do? Well, we could also look at it as packaging up, say, our 2 third-round picks and trading up to get into the second. It gives us the ability to get more talent if we want to. So I think it's an awesome, awesome, gift that we've also just got all of a sudden. So pretty big move and big, bold move all around. So wild to see this, guys. So I also did want to just share to you also a little bit more about Tom Donatel too. So just because I would like to learn a little bit more about this guy too, and kind of what he basically is all about. So Tom Donatel he's an assistant secondary coach. So he has been working with the coach, the secondary already. Georgia guy, second season as assistant secondary coach for the Chargers, just pushed him up. In his first year with the Bolts, he helped coach Derwin James to return the field at all-star level, assisted with the transition of second-round rookie Asante Samuel Jr. So he has been working with our secondary already. He basically is already in that position. It's just an upgrade for him all around. So I think it's really good to be able to see that. So prior to that, he was with the Seahawks as a quality control defensive coach. So he's been in the defensive mind. 4 years with Seahawks as a defensive coaching staff. So it's a good move all around. A guy that's already been accustomed to it. Now we got to find another assistant defensive back coach for our coaching staff all around. So Seahawks defenders earned a combined 7 Pro Bowl nods too while he was there in Seattle. So he's done pretty well with that. Collegiate level, he was serving as a defensive graduate assistant at University of South Florida and UCLA. So very, very cool. Son of Vikings defensive coordinator Ed Donatel. If you remember him, that's good to see. He's got roots in the NFL. He knows what it's all about. Tom Donatel rotated at linebacker and safety as a collegiate player for the University of Iowa. I like the Iowa guys out there. Very, very good players all around. Started 8 games at strong safety for the Hawkeyes and as a senior in 2012, picking up 2 passes, recording 1 forced fumble over the course of his career. So once again, if you really look at Brandon Staley's staff, it's guys that have been in those positions so they could teach what they have done on their field. I think it's great all around. So I like this move. It's a good move all around for us. It's great for us, really, for drafting more or less too, guys. I like seeing these kind of moves happen for us. So it really, really benefits us in the long run. Helps us out to get more youth in this team all around. And I think that defensively, we're going to get very, very young in this draft. I mean, if you watched our live on Sunday, a lot of the guys, in my opinion, that are free agents probably won't get signed. We don't have the cap space to work with it. I will say one thing too. I do think that, and just a little bit of a caution, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but Renaldo Hill probably looked at it as, hey, look, if Brandon Staley doesn't do very well this year, he's probably going to be out on the streets. And, I think Brandon Staley could get let go. Tom Telesco could get let go. I mean, 3 years is kind of, I think, very young to get rid of a guy that's already had 2 winning seasons with you. But I think Renaldo Hill looked at it as like, hey, I need to get a little bit more of a stable position somewhere else. And, this season's going to dictate of where this team's going to be. I do feel the Chargers are going to have a very strong season all around. But one thing, too, I think that Renaldo Hill was just looking to be able to find something as a multi-year based contract. And, hey, he possibly got a pay bump, too. So I think all around, it was a great move for us. Getting an additional pick, it might be a 3rd-round pick. I'm not sure exactly what the compensation will be, but pretty big move. Tom Donatel will be our cornerback coach, and then we're going to have Derek Ainsley as our defensive coordinator. So he will be under that same position. He's already been within the system. He's been with Brandon Staley for some times, but I like this move. I think it's very, very cool to see. An interesting thing on NFL Network's web article, The move allows Chargers head coach Brandon Staley to hang on two and up and coming coaches who were popular during this hiring cycle. So it allows us to be able to keep, Derek Ainsley, who seems like he's been one of those guys that has been looked at. And then also with Tommy Donatello, who has obviously got roots as his dad as a defensive coordinator. So very cool to be able to see that. So we got guys that are moving around from our staff, which is a good thing in a sense, in my opinion. But compensation for draft picks is big for us. So I want to hear what you guys think, guys. I think it's a really, really cool move to see this, and it's great to be able to see some of these new moves all happen around for the coaching staff. But let me tell me your thoughts on this, guys. Like, subscribe, sub, comment. Let us know what you guys think, guys. Appreciate it, guys. Once again, giving you guys updates as we get them, guys. Bolt Bros, let's go.